well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever applies to your situation. And welcome to the Being Your Own CEO Success Circle. This morning we're going to talk about staying in touch with our clients. But first, let's do some introductions. So David, how would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Dave Flannery with Affordable Websites for Small Business out here in Rock Falls, Illinois, in the United States, where it is sunny and about 75 degrees, going up to about 83, 84 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll let you do the conversions. We are streaming through YouTube fine and through the website fine.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
And Vivek?
Namaste. My name is Vivek Anand. I am proud to share my belief with Steve Jobs and Leonardo da Vinci, who said simplicity is the ultimate in sophistication. I aim to bring time-tested wisdom and happiness together into your business and life by unifying, simplifying, and amplifying simple technology and tools. Wake Technology is my company. Together, let us wake up our potential. I am in Reading, England. We are under a heat wave at the moment, and it's my phone says it is 31 degrees centigrade outside, which is more than 90 degrees Fahrenheit. It has been this warm for a couple of days, and they are saying that it'll all end in a thunderstorm, and rain is expected maybe tomorrow. I don't know, maybe later this evening. So enjoying the hot weather while it lasts.
That sounds like a heat wave to me. I can see David's dog's tail wagging back and forth in the corner. So Paul, welcome here. Long time no see. How would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, your luck ran out today. Well, over here at TPG International Management, you're on your little path in life and taking your business from idea to profitable action. We'd like you to think of us as your Sherpas.
A Sherpa, right on. Well, what should I say about what I'm doing right now? Well, Vivek and I are just about ready to post a new mini course on the website for courses. So what should I do? I should change my virtual background. Let's do that, just for the fun of it. You can do the same. We decided that there were probably a number of people who needed a bit of instruction on how to embed various Google products onto their website. So we've just finished the video for that, and today we'll be putting it up as a blog post on the site. So we've been, yes, no kidding. Oh dear. And I must say, I mean, as we were doing the video for it, we had a lot of stops and starts. Poor Vivek had a lot of editing to do, but it worked out just fine. So
it was all a learning experience. So
it was, wasn't it?
yeah, we also did a Google search about the stuff that we are talking about, and there couldn't find many. There were, I don't know. Did we find any, LowellAnn?
No,
I,
no.
so
So this is this.
either we are talking total hot air or something unique.
I
Hopefully, it's the latter.
Yes, I think it's the unique part. Quite likely, a lot of people don't even know you can do what we're showing them how to do. So, right on. So I see David has his hand up.
Yes, Daisy wants to report that Javita's in the chat saying good day to everybody.
Well, thank you, Javita, and I think it's good evening where you are, or is it good night? So, let's get with it here. We thought, oh, there's Alana, right? Well, we'll just let her introduce herself before we move on to our conversation. Good morning, Alana. You're just in time to introduce yourself.
Oh, am I not muted? Okay. Okay. Hi, everybody. Alana here, coming to you from Ireland, and my company is ALB Digital Marketing Solutions, where I write copy to increase sales and conversions for small, medium-sized businesses. And sorry for my heavy sigh there, but it is so darn hot here right now. I am melting. I am absolutely melting. I checked the backyard. I put a thermometer in the back, and it's 82 in the sun and 78 in the shade, which is unheard of here. So, Vivek, I don't know how you're doing over there in the UK, but I'm melting, and I can't close my door because if I close my door, it'll be like an oven in here. So, that's my moaning for the day. Signing off.
Oh, well, just to make you jealous, my phone says it's 16 degrees outside.
I mean, I love the heat. Don't get me wrong. I love it, except when I'm in the house.
Yeah.
You know, I do love the heat, but there would be no hope of me getting anywhere near the beach because all the tourists are down from Dublin for the summer, and we won't get near the beach unless I go at 8 o'clock at night.
Right.
So.
Well, we have lots of beaches here, and of late we've visited a few. There seem to be lots of people on the beaches for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's that time of year, of course. All right, so this morning we thought we would discuss keeping in touch with our clients. So this is the idea, and I think it may have been Javita who recommended the topic. So Javita, if you want to come into the room and tell us what your techniques are, we'll be happy to have you. Anyway, the whole idea, I think, behind the topic was, yeah, we've done some work with the client. This is somebody where you've maybe finished working with them. What techniques do we have in order to stay in touch with them? So, of course, I usually do a bit of research before we start, and so I have a whole page of stuff here, but one of the most important item on this whole list, I thought, was keeping your contact list updated. Would that not be the very most important thing? And not only updated, but organized in such a way, because we all have contacts that relate to a lot of other things. So having your contact list organized in such a way that you know where to find, how to separate your clients or your former clients out of all the other stuff. So that seemed to be one of the best pieces of advice. And I do know a few people who do not manage their contact list very well. so, and I know that the choices we make about staying in contact with people are going to vary according to the niche we're working with, for sure. And David, I'm sure you and Debbie have a technique for staying in touch with former real estate customers. Do you want to say something about that?
Yeah. We usually send out quarterly postcards.
Ah.
Try to make them personal.
So physical postcards.
Yes. My wife doesn't believe in the internet or email or any of those things for contacting people. Postcards it is. So I don't argue with her. I just let her send out the postcards. And it helps. It does keep people fresh in our minds. And we do get, we would do a lot better if we put out a newsletter. We've tried different things where people have done newsletters for us and don't have a good response. I don't think my wife is alone in my area about fighting the internet. I think there's a lot of people out here that in Rock Falls, Illinois, that they believe in Facebook, and that's all they believe in. And it can be difficult. It's hard to sell a web page around here. Now I can go to the town across the way. I can go to, 25 miles away from here, and they all believe in the internet. But my little town here, it's hard to sell a website. They don't think that you're worth the money that you get them. So, because no one here goes to the websites. They all go to Facebook. Like a local store, they want to see it on Facebook. They don't want to see it on the website.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And yet, I was connecting with an old choir friend here not long ago, who I see her a lot on Facebook. And we had breakfast together this week, and she complained that she's so sick and tired of trying to get rid of all the adverts on Facebook. So there's a lot of people that are not that don't use Facebook for business purposes, and they don't want it that way.
They don't want to be inundated with ads.
Right.
I'm one of those people. That's why I don't use Facebook very often. It's because I don't like how they set up and how I've got to look at everybody's ads and everybody's stuff in order to see the 5 posts that I want to see about my family that my brothers posted and my sisters posted or whatever. And most of my, just so you know, most of my web clients are not from around this area.
Right.
I'm worldwide now.
Yeah, I think you said you just acquired somebody that may be in Germany.
Yeah, and I've got Canada and Germany and the United States. I do have some in the United States, but they are roughly closest one's about 1,000 miles away from me. The other one's about 1,500 miles away from me. So there is no meetings with them as far as going to their office or they come to my office. It's all Zoom.
Right. Okay. So, Alana, how about you? Do you have any techniques for staying in touch with former clients or clients that you hope might return, or?
I actually don't. I've been focusing more on getting new business because my previous clients, Well, the clients that I'm writing for right now, I'm in touch with them on a regular basis anyway, because I get feedback from the articles that I write for them. So that's kind of an ongoing thing. But the previous clients that I had from a few years ago that I would have built a website for, I'm kind of no longer building websites. I'm more into the administration, like the site management and the writing articles. So I guess no. The answer would be no. I don't really have any techniques for that. But while you were talking, I was thinking about a newsletter. And I think somebody had said that they didn't get a response from that type of thing to send out. But I'm thinking a lot of times people, when they get a newsletter, it's just kind of to keep you in their mind so that when it turns out they do need you, all of a sudden they'll say, oh yeah, I got that newsletter. I'll go check that out and grab the number. Because that's how I think. Like I don't always respond like thanks for a newsletter or whatever. But if I need something, I know where to find it.
And that's interesting that you would say that, because I found with my list, that's a bit of the same situation, because I've changed my focus to some degree, and a lot of the people that I was connected with before no longer see themselves as a solopreneur. And so so that's one of the things we stumble on as solopreneurs. If we change our focus, then we change the clients. And I mean, yes, there are some people who will, just because we've been connected for a long time, are curious to kind of stay in touch with what I'm up to, because they all look at me as some kind of a weird old nerd. What's she up to this time, kind of thing. but in terms of staying in touch, and I really feel the need to stay in touch with them, just because they supported me in my business over the years, and to me it's an acknowledgement of that. So one of the things that I do is I keep a list in Jackie Lawson Cards, which is an online greeting card company. It's been there for years. That I think I've been associated with them for more than 20. So and it's a really nice little platform, because you can keep all your connections in there, and you can manage your list, etc. And so I usually send at least a Christmas card. And it's fun to go in and look afterwards, because it will tell you how many people actually opened the card. So that's worthwhile, and it's really worthwhile. I think I pay something like $12 a year, and I use it a lot when I want to send somebody a birthday card, or a get well, or a sympathy, or any of those, even just a message. Sometimes I send just a note card. I find a lot of people really enjoy them, because they're very creative. Usually have a little bit of music attached to them, and depending on my choice, and so that's. And I find that though a lot of people do open them, and they also usually send a thank you of some sort, because they can. If you receive a Jackie Lawson card, it allows you to acknowledge it. It's a really neat site, and so I see that David has posted the link there. Yes, David, you're raising your hand.
Okay, number one, Javita says, sorry, LowellAnn. No, it was not my idea.
Oh, okay. I wonder whose it was.
I don't think it was me. So
I don't know where it came from.
the other thing about the newsletter is, I I think it's more my location. I think newsletters work very well, especially if you have something that gives good content.
Mhm.
Um, in most places, like if I was doing something that I had an email list that was from uh, across the nation, or even into the Chicago, or what we call the Quad Cities down below, south of us, um, an email list would work wonderful,
Mhm.
and a newsletter would work wonderfully.
Mhm.
It just my little local area that um, they're putting in. Maybe people will change their mind because they're putting in fiber optics, and everybody will be able to get gigs speed internet up and down here in the next month or two. Maybe it'll all change. Everybody will go get, start
Mhm.
wanting websites and all this good stuff. So, oh,
Okay, so I mentioned holiday cards, etc. And I guess one of the other pieces is any sort of updating that you do in social media does keep you in touch with those that you're connected to. But that means that you need to pay attention. If you're using social media, it means that you need to pay attention to those people that you connect to. So if you have a client, it's important to go in there and connect with that client in whatever social platform they use. And that's another tricky piece, because not everybody uses the same platforms to stay in touch. So it becomes important to know things about your current clients. Like if you have a current client, where do they go, and how do they what platforms do they really prefer? Because, and I have a number of choir members. Now these are social people, but a lot of them are curious about what I'm doing, and some of them have just said, no more Facebook. Not doing any more Facebook. So then what do you do? So even our little tenor group, we have a group on Facebook for the purpose of staying in touch with one another. Now all of a sudden there's one person that doesn't do that anymore. So now what do we do? So Alana.
Private message. That's the answer, because I don't do Facebook anymore either. I don't think I've posted anything in months, but I have private messages with my friends that are on my page, and we set up groups. So there's my group of friends like in Connecticut that I'm in touch with on a regular basis, and so that's how I stay in touch with them. And so we always know what's going on with the other person, because anything that's going on is posted in group chat. So that's how I stay connected, is through group chats.
Okay, and is that group chat for Facebook?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's your messenger. It's a messenger app. So I took Facebook and Instagram off my phone, and I might log into Facebook once a day. That's it. Like in the morning, just to see what's going on. I kind of scroll it real quick, but the bulk of my communication is done through private messaging in the Messenger app. So I have that on my phone. So if anyone wants, they can stay in touch with me. If you have Messenger, you can stay in touch with me, no problem.
Uh-huh.
So that's how I get around it.
Well,
I just don't want my stuff out there anymore.
Yeah. Well, it becomes complicated, doesn't it? I mean, it takes up way too much of our time. So when you talk about group messaging using Messenger, one of the ways that I've been trying to stay in touch with people in this group is through Google Chat, because you can set up a room in Google Chat, which allows you to do the same thing. And then Vivek, you mentioned we talked before about WhatsApp is another one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I use WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Some of my friends that don't use Facebook use WhatsApp instead.
Yeah, but WhatsApp is also from Facebook, so
How is that any different from Messenger? Right.
it is different in that WhatsApp is very closely tied to your phone number, your mobile phone number.
Mm-hmm.
So it is tied to that number. So
Mm-hmm.
with the WhatsApp, I have seen it being used even for video messaging.
Oh.
I can call somebody on the phone who may be in the other part of the world but still use the video messaging,
Mm-hmm.
or I can even call them on the phone, but it goes through the data network, it goes through the Wi-Fi or
Mm-hmm.
internet, and but it rings their phone and communication happens through the phone, but not through the phone network.
Right.
It's a bit
Right. And now that you mention that, an awful lot of people I know stay in touch using the phone messaging system because they don't have to have data turned on in order for that to work. So, Paul, I was sitting here thinking about a platform you and I talked about a long time ago where you can actually send a little short video message. Do you remember what that was called?
Vidyard is one of them.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them. I use Vidyard primarily when I'm talking to someone and we're talking about how to do something. I just use a quick video with that. I can't remember. There's another one that's very similar to it that you use. The way I stay in touch with people is pretty simple. I have tags in my CRM, and when you're working with someone, you get
CRM?
Yeah.
I know what it means, but we need.
Sorry, a customer relation management system. Yeah, and so the tags indicate things that they're interested in, and then every week in my CRM, I have a group of people that I've also put forward in it, that these are people that I haven't talked to in a certain amount of time. So I go read their tags, what they're interested in. And I'm fortunate I have a lot of time to be able to explore stuff on the internet. And so when I see something that's interesting, I'll pass it on to them and say, saw this, thought of you. And I do that entirely in one platform, LinkedIn. And I sometimes use voice messaging LinkedIn just because it's a little more personal depending on the person. So it's just a way of saying, I understand what you're interested in, saw this, thought you might be interested. So that's the system that I use to stay in touch with people.
And I've been the recipient of lots of those messages, and I really appreciate them because it definitely does work as a way to stay in touch with people. But it does, as you say, take quite a bit of time.
Yeah, it's really just the setup because especially when you're actively involved with the client, you get to learn a lot about them. At least we do because of what we do. And so just setting the tags up takes the time. And then after that, it's a simple thing of just setting, haven't talked to them in say 3 weeks or a month. And each client, I set it up a little differently depending on our involvement, past involvement, and what I think the future involvement is with them. And so, but it's really an hour a week just to review who I'm going to be sort of looking for stuff that week and just keeping it top of mind as I go through stuff I normally process anyway.
So you said you're using a CRM system and you're using tags. What do you use?
Which system?
CRM system.
Yeah, less annoying CRM.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Annoying.
less annoying CRM. I couldn't not have that one. Having used a number of them over the years, when I saw their name, I just had to check them out.
Less annoying CRM.
CRM. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that would be worthwhile looking at as well, because I was trying to visualize. I use Google Contacts, and I can classify people according to how I knew them or whatever. But
Yeah.
I was trying to visualize how you would use,
Some people use Evernote
oh yeah,
because it's got
you can tags, yeah.
yeah, they do tags and search really well.
Hmm.
So and they've changed it a bit, and they now use you can set up schedules. You can schedule stuff in it now too.
Mhm.
So I just find that setting up a pipeline in a CRM is much easier than trying to do it in Evernote.
Mm. And this less annoying CRM is it costly?
It's under $20 a month.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I can't remember whether it's 16 or 18, somewhere in there.
Right. So those are some really good techniques, though. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, I think it would using this Vidyard, because it's really easy to just record a little short verbal facial message and email it out to somebody. I think that would be, I can't think of anybody that wouldn't open that and read it at least. So yeah, David.
Vidgard, how are you spelling that?
I'll throw it. I'll find it and throw it in the hoodoo
Yeah,
in the chat.
Yeah, please.
yeah.
I looked in Google and what I come up with is not what you guys are talking about. Also, Javita was commenting on the Jackie Lawson cards that the animation in the greeting is just mind-blowing.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and like I say, the variety of themes in there, is amazing. So you can choose something that seems to fit the person that you're sending it to. Yeah. In other words, if I'm sending something to one of my sons, it's not, isn't got pretty flowers, because they're not interested in pretty flowers. So I send them something that's got something to do with sailing or something like that. So you got to be careful there. Okay. So one of the other things that was on the list was just plain old phone them and see how they're doing. We seem to kind of forget that. But the problem with that is so many people don't answer their phone. So what you end up doing is just leaving a message. So how is that any better than sending them a Vidyard video? So that seems to be the new world of technology taking over for sure. Okay. Well, Vivek, what about you? How do you stay in touch with all? I mean, you have a whole group of people that you try to stay in touch with.
The group that I interact with, we interact with using WhatsApp mostly. And then they have started is a group on Facebook. But I'm not sure whether it is a private group or a public group, or but I haven't really gone in there much. I have joined it, but I do use WhatsApp a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that it does so many things, and you can share so many things using WhatsApp. So
Mm-hmm.
you can share you can create a video and share it using WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
But it all depends on, I mean, the, the the fundamental criteria for using WhatsApp is that you do have a smartphone, and not a last century flip phone, as some people seem to still have.
Yes. But you make a good point. There are a lot of people who are not quite there when it comes to using their phone as a computer.
Mm.
There certainly are lots of people who haven't got there yet. Yeah. So I'm looking at my list. There were at least 11 items on this list here. So celebrate the time since you worked together, and I don't know. I guess this would vary according to what you do for people or whatever. But certainly in terms of in the coaching world, we may have worked for maybe 3 months or 6 months. I have one coaching client I worked for 15 years with, and so it's an assumption. From my perspective, my assumption is that they've been able to move on and do the things that they wanted to do, and I was able to help them get there. And so nothing wrong with going back and just checking to see, so how are you doing? It was such a great honor to be able to work with you, and I'm wondering, how you're doing now. It probably doesn't work to make it sound as though you're trying to get them to come back. I don't think. That's not the intent. I mean, when they need you, they'll take the action. So, but nothing wrong with celebrating the fact that they've accomplished things, etc. Paul.
Yeah, one thing, a cautionary note here. If you use LinkedIn, you get work anniversary notifications.
Mm-hmm.
They're only as good as the people on LinkedIn. I get work anniversary notifications from people I know that have left that company 10 years ago. So you have to, it's important to know your client. Now, on the other hand, recently there was a work anniversary of someone who has only been in the job a short 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to put a direct message to them about the fact that they, what they've accomplished. They were in the hospitality industry, what they've accomplished in face of, all of these odds, and congratulate them on that. So the more you can personalize it, the better. But as I say, be cautious.
Yes, personalizing. I think that's why sort of a mass newsletter, I don't think would work as well as an individual message, so that it can be personalized. Yeah.
It depends a lot on your business too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
David, for the real estate business, one of the companies we do some work with, Home Watch Canada, what they do is they'll take a tip on either a house or a condo, because that's mostly what they look after. And they'll just put out like a monthly tip or
Hmm.
every 6 weeks and send it to the clients that they have, just to, just keep you top of mind. That's all you're trying to do,
Yeah.
so that the next time they think of your service, that they'll think of you first.
Mm-hmm. David.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange business with real estate because you become very intimate with your client. You get to learn all sorts of things about them financially, um, and so forth and so on. And then the closing happens, and all of a sudden you're gone. And it's very strange. It's a business that I've found that's very hard because I mean we talk like we're best friends for weeks and weeks and weeks, and nothing.
Well, and you are best friends for that period.
I know,
you're right in their lives, but as you say, once it's done, really what you're looking for from them is referrals.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's if you can build in that concept without being, slap in the face-ish, during that intense period, um, that's a strategy to employ.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's another one of my items that I wrote down. Increase your visibility, become more active in your community. Now, I think that sort of applies. Well, it does apply to online as much as in your own community. Right now, there's probably not many networking events happening here in Victoria. I'm thinking that the same goes for pretty well everywhere else. But that's why consistency, like doing this thing every single Tuesday morning for years and years, it's the consistency of that. It indicates that I'm still active, you know. So, David, you were waving again.
Yeah, I'm finding a lot of networking items around here are on Zoom.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
Bethany has one coming up on the 17th, or not 17th, but next week on Tuesday afternoon,
Hmm.
um, about internships and how you can get an intern for
Hmm.
your company, and it's all done by Zoom.
Hmm.
They no longer have it set up to where they do it in house. They do it by Zoom, which um, seems to be working around here. I've been invited to a number of different Zoom networking events um, and whatnot. Go ahead,
Hmm.
Paul.
Yeah. So just a question on Zoom. Are there any sort of networking techniques that you would use in a face-to-face thing, that are harder on Zoom, or is it the same type of networking that you would normally do? I find that one of the things that networking Zoom meetings that I'm attending now, they're using a lot of breakout rooms.
Are they?
So they break the large group down into groups of 3 or 4,
Hmm.
and give them 5 or 10 minutes to interact with each other,
Hmm.
then bring you back, and then maybe pose another question and do another breakout room.
Hmm.
So I'm finding that that's far more useful than the Zoom meetings where it's just a large meeting,
Hmm.
that was kind of like a presentation and question and
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
The and what you're saying is true. Most of them are just large meetings,
Hmm.
but you don't get to, like when you're in a big group, you've got the people sitting beside you and across, on the other side, and then there's people across the way that say something and you get interested in. So when the meeting breaks up, you can go over and talk to them, or at a break you can go over and talk to them, you know. someone mentions, "Hey, I'm struggling with my website." Well, I'm right over there. Well, in the Zoom meeting, it's very difficult to get that.
Yeah, and in some Zoom meetings, the hosts don't allow audience interaction. You can interact with the hosts, but not with each other. So it's even more difficult in those meetings.
Well, I was going to mention the one community thing that I'm involved in via Zoom is my choir, and they have a program that's preset, and so there's the first half of the program, and then they take a break, and then they put everybody into breakout rooms to interact, and then they'll bring everybody back and do some more. But there's a lot of interaction via chat between people during that situation, and sometimes people have there are lots of people that will go into a breakout room, and there are some people that'll just stay in the main room and use that as a breakout room. Because I'm noticing that most of the people in this choir have been doing this stuff now for 2 years, and but some of them still don't know how to do it very well, and so that makes it difficult. But the other thing that I've noticed about this particular group, there's a lot of people that'll sit there with their video turned off. So they're there just listening, but they're not really there. They're not there and interacting. And it looks as though they don't want to, and some of them come in via the phone, and with Zoom you can connect with people just by using a phone, and in that case there's no video. Like if you're not using a Zoom app on your phone, then you're just interacting via sound. So it's all of this is tricky because everybody has a different comfort level and a different technological skill level, shall we say. So so for networking, I agree. Most what I see around things that I'm interested in, they're hosting, but most of them are kind of presentations, or maybe 2 or 3 people interacting, talking, and so forth, and everybody else is sitting back and watching or listening. And a lot of them are not very interactive. So, yeah.
Anybody you participating in Clubhouse?
No.
Okay.
Clubhouse.
I heard a bit about it, and then I heard that most people that were in Clubhouse are leaving it.
Isn't the Clubhouse part of Facebook?
Yeah,
no.
what's Clubhouse?
Clubhouse is it's a Apple only app. You have to be invited to join, and it's kind of like a Zoom meeting. A lot of the I'm not on Apple, so my interface with it has been with people who are reposting the Clubhouse that they do on their podcasts. So I sort of get it secondhand, but I've never been in there, but it's kind of like a Zoom meeting in a different platform.
But this is an Android phone.
Yeah.
It says it is Clubhouse.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay. I
Well,
think
now that you mention Clubhouse, I have several friends that are using what's it called? Um, 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 um,
House party.
there it is. Discord.
Oh,
In fact, I saw some messages from a lot of people, basically stating that Discord is the PC variety, or it allows you to do all the things that Clubhouse allowed you to do. So I've been in Discord for a long time. There are some people who do not. Some people go in there and join, but never go back. Such as the number of people in this group here. But to be fair, I mean, those of us that are here, we don't feel the need of that because we have this to do to keep us connected. So, but I do stay in touch with a number of other people in Discord, and it allows you to do video calls and everything that you can do on lots of other sites. But again, just as Clubhouse requires a personal invitation in order to join, the same is true of Discord. So that
I've been on Discord, and outside of you, LowellAnn, and Tony, no one else is on it that I know. And
I'm on it, but I think I just signed up for it and
didn't go back.
I never.
well, I mean,
It's
we
just
always talk Zoom.
there's such a thing as too many apps to keep up with, and
Absolutely.
you know, you kind of have to go where everybody is.
you know, Alana, that's so right. And sometimes you have to just say, if the person isn't interested in where you are, maybe it's a client that you have to consider whether you're gonna, you know, keep them or not. You try your best, and then at some point it's, you know, is the effort worth it?
Yeah. And then the thing too is, where are your clients going to hang out?
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing. Like, if you can figure out where your clients hang out, that's how you can keep in touch with them. And if Facebook is the way, that's why, you know, Facebook for me is a double-edged sword, because it started out as a personal thing for me, and then it moved into a professional thing, and now it's kind of mutated into this personal professional thing. And so for me, I mean, if I'm trying to maintain some professionalism out there, I don't want people seeing, you know, what I'm feeding my dog that night. You know what I mean? I got to draw the line somewhere.
Well, I think though that if you're looking at Facebook, I mean, if that's the difference between your personal profile and your page. And then there is a group. You can have a public or a private group. So you have to use those according to what you need to do. Yeah. But they're and then you get discouraged because you find out you put everything there and other people don't get to see what you've done unless you pay. So I guess there's no free lunch around. Okay, so let's see. I was looking at the time. We're almost at the hour. So one of the other things that I stumbled on was just finding a way to keep your former clients informed about what's going on in your life, like being ready to share something about yourself. because that would be important for them to know. So that was one thing. Then another item was just what Paul said, that you block off some time in your calendar and you take care of looking to see who you haven't seen for a while and doing all that. So I mean, if you're going to stay in touch, you need to block off the time in your own calendar in order to do it. Yeah. So, and then oh yes, there was one more thing, host an event. So I thought about that. I mean, I host this event, but I wondered whether it would make sense to host, I don't know, something a little bit more in line with the clients that I used to work with. I don't know. So maybe hosting an event about how to manage your retirement, how to have a fabulous retirement, or something like that, and see who would be interested. I mean, I've worked with lots of clients that would not come to this because they don't see themselves as entrepreneurs. Yeah. Alana.
Yeah, so I think that's a great idea, and I was invited to an event by someone I don't know, but she's here in Ireland, and she did a presentation. I can't remember what it was about now that I think about it. I think it might have been something to do with coaching, but she did a presentation on kind of, how to get through the tough times we're in, that sort of thing. So if you have new information and you get, a presentation together, so you're presenting new information. So I think you'd have more success with having people attend that if you have new information to share, and then they can take it from there.
Yeah.
And consider your audience when you do that, Alana.
Yeah.
Yeah, like LowellAnn, you were talking about a very specialized group, and those are super effective, and they don't have to be big. That's the other thing. You don't have to have a lot of people. In fact, fewer sometimes the better.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, David?
One thing we've been kicking around is having a barbecue where we put some hamburgers on and hot dogs on and feed the kids and the parents, and just for all our old clients and anybody that works with us, like our inspectors and people like that, and kind of just get back into seeing each other, talking to each other, finding out what's going on with each other, and providing a good way to do that. That's one thing we've kicked around. So I don't know if we'll get it this year, but next year probably.
Yeah, it's yeah.
And another thing is, I think I'll speak for myself. I don't have any kids, and I'm old, but kids organizations are often a way to meet and know people and expand your business. I'm involved with younger people organizations because of my interests, but I find that the people I meet there often supply me with good information about other clients.
Absolutely. So don't just keep your focus on one specific group. Try to keep it wide. Well,
and as David was saying, give back.
Yeah.
Give something into the community, and you'll be amazed at how that expands your worth to the community.
I need to go. Everybody have a great week.
We all need to go. So I was looking at the time. We are 2 minutes to the hour. So I need to remind everyone it's important to do what you love with passion. And I need to let you know what next week's topic will be, which is how to find and choose related videos. And I know what that came from. It came from one of Jay's sessions where he talked about how important it is to put a video as part of your SEO. Like if you're doing a blog, it's important. But how to find appropriate videos to use in that regard. So having said that, we will see you all again next time, and I'll